Okay, so somebody like you, since you're here every day, when I start this record, or always look up in the right corner, just in passing, to make sure that this is on. Because if this isn't on, then it's not recording. And about one every 20 times I do a class, I forget to do the recording. And yesterday was one of them. Okay, so we are recording, and so I'm going to. I have uploaded some notes I have for assignments 8, 9, and 10. These are the assignments where you start with tutorial 5-5. You start with the finished tutorial 5-5, and then you make some changes to those programs, to that program, and you do 8, and then you do 9, and then you do 10, and there will be an 11. So I decided to just to make some notes taking you through 8, 9, and 10, simply because if you go straight to 10, then you end up not doing some parts that I'd like you to do, namely the deleting the name out of your file before you add the array. And so it's quite a bit different. So I want you to be able to do both of those. So I'm going to share my desktop here, and you might not see me anymore, which is fine. Just over here, so if we look on, let's see what this looks like for you folks. So you're seeing the assignments like this, and if you, so I'm going to start with assignment 8, but if you go to assignment 10, you actually, these are the things that you need to do in assignments 8 and 9, and then from tutorial 5-5, and then assignment 10 you just do this stuff. And so so I include tutorial 5-5 with 8, 9, and 10. But I just uploaded some notes here. So if you click on that, you'll see some notes here that I'm going to use today to sort of guide me along, and to take you through what you need to do to complete each of these. So let's. So I think I might. So let's start with assignment 8. Let's go back to assignment 8. And I'm going to download this to the desktop. We are recording. And so I have it on the desktop here. I'm going to right click on it and extract all. And that's going to extract another directory that's right here, and I uncheck the checkbox to have me go into that directory, and I'm just going to get rid of this one. I'm going to go in here, and this is my tutorial 5.5. Okay, I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to rename this like assignment 8. Rename assignment 8. Assignment 8. Okay, and in fact, can I put it out here? Yeah, I will. Now I can get rid of this thing. Okay, now I'm going to go in here and go in here, and I'm going to open this up. And this is going to take a little while. In the meantime, I can summarize what we're going to do here. First, I'm going to do my best to change all the prefixes of all the checkbox or all the controls on Windows Control. I'm going to add my name to the text property at the top of the form. I'm going to put my name in as a comment, and then the first thing you have to do is add a return, or make it so you can hit the return key, the enter key, after you type in a name, and that'll be like hitting the right name button. Okay, it's the first thing I want you to do. And then I will also, and then there's this alert that says name added, and it's kind of annoying. I'd like you just to remove that. And the second thing I'd like you to, this second pretty important thing to do is to add an open file dialog box. So it asks you the file. You'll see that this program just defaults to a file named friend.txt, and I'd like you to make it so the program asks the user for the name of the file. And then the third thing is we're going to add a list box, and it's going to contain what is in the file at all times. So we'll be able to see the current state of the file because there's a list box there. And and the last thing is to add code to avoid adding a name more than once. So I've included some code here. There's some code that can be copied in. I guess you gotta know how to do it. Okay, so first let me sign in. Yeah, if you go to assignment 10. And I can share my screen with you folks here. Sorry. All right, so I'm going to start out just by running this. I'm just going to, it's a good idea just to click start, see what's up here. And it asks, enter a friend's name. Now, before I enter any friend, I'm going to go back into my directory here, my assignment 8 directory. I'm going to drill down, as they say, down to bin, down to debug, and here is the friend.txt file. Let's take a peek at that. I'm going to open it up with Notepad, and here it is. No, I don't need to do that. And the thing is you'll notice that it did not put a return after this last name. And so when we enter the new name, it's just going to attach it right onto that Carly Colombo there. So what I'm going to do is the first name I enter is I'm just going to hit the right name button with no name, and it's going to put a return after Carly. Okay, watch. Click, name has been written, and now I'll click on the file here and it says, ooh, it's changed. Do you want to reload it? Reload, and there you go. Now you see there's a return. See, there's a return there. So now I can start adding some names for real. For real. I have to hit the right name. And name was written, and now let me click on this, and it says, oh, it's changed. You want me to reload it? Yes, and there is my fourth name. All right, so this thing works. Let me put this down here. Let me put this down here. And let's stop it. And let's double click on the form1.cs over here and see what's up. Double click. And here is the design window. And I'm going to right click on the area here, do view code. And here's the code. So we see when the right name button is clicked, it executes this code. It opens up the friend.txt file for appending to add to it. Grabs what's in the name text box and writes it to the friend.txt file. Then it closes the file. Then it displays out this annoying message that says the name was written. And then it clears out the text box because the name is still going to be in there. And then it puts the focus back on the text box because it was on the right name button. Remember, because you had to click the right name button for it to write the name. So that's where the focus is now. And this thing puts the focus back on the text box, the cleared text box, so the user can just go ahead and type another name. If something happens that's wrong, here's the exception handler. All right, so that's all this thing does. And so the first thing we would like to do is let's do all of this. I'm going to make this more. Let's see. I actually like to see it this way. I put this down below. I'm able to kind of scroll. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do all these changes here. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to change the name of this text box here to it's on the form. I've clicked on the text box, so I'm waiting for, well, all right. I don't think this is doing anything. All right, while I'm here, if I'm really here, I guess I'm not. Okay, oh, a name text box. Okay, here we go, name text box. I'm gonna put this up here. So we're on name text box. I'm gonna change the name of it to TXT new name. That's a better name for it. And everything else is fine. This write name button, I'm gonna change that one to BTN. I'm going to call it enter name, because later we're going to be entering them, not necessarily writing them. So so that's fine. The exit button, I'm going to change that to BTN exit, and we won't get to that till the very end. On this form here, this is the form 1. I want to put the text up here. I want to just put Rich Halverson's friend file. Okay, and so that's there. And I also want to do something like I don't think. Oh, the top has a label. Sure. All right. Pin this. Let me look at label. I'm gonna grab this stuff here, bring it down a little bit, grab a label, put it over here, and I don't need to change the name of it because I'm not going to write to it again, but I want it to say Rich Alverson's friend system, or some dumb thing. And let me make this I don't know, 18-point font. And maybe how about 14-point font, and let's put some bolding in there. And oh my gosh, look at that. Okay, great. So here's my so there, I've done. Oh, let me go in here, and let me I renamed this to BTN enter, right? I named it BTN enter name. So I'm going to it doesn't automatically do this, but I want to do it. I'm going to rename it BTN enter name, and apply that. I guess that's okay. TXT name, that's good. Oh, exit button. Let me just rename this BTN exit. Apply all. All right, so now I've sort of renamed everything. That looks good. Oh, am I supposed to put my name as a comment? Oh yeah. Whatever. Rich Alverson's excellent code. How do you spell that code or whatever? All right, so now my name's in there as a comment. Great. All right, so what's next? return character at the end of the name will enter automatically. Okay, it turns out that it's even easier than I thought before. And all you gotta do is you gotta say on this form, you can specify for the form. This is the form now. You can specify where if any button hits the enter key in any of the text boxes, it's like pressing a button on the form, or it's like yeah, that's what it's like. And so the way you do that, the way you set that up is you make sure you're on the form. And so now we're on form 1 here, and I got to go to let's see, I've got my notes here. Accept button property. The accept button behavior. Data, design, layout. Here we go. Miscellaneous. Accept button. So we want it to be the same as enter name. We want it to be the same as BTN enter name. So I'm going to click on that. So now, when we hit the enter key after typing a name, it's going to be just like clicking this right name button. Let's see if that's true. So here's my friend system. I'm going to say Charlie Brown. Enter. Name was written. Let's click here, and lo and behold, there's my name. Great. Okay, so that works. Remove the name added message. Okay, I'll do that right now. Name was written. I'm just going to comment it out. What's next? Add an open dialog control to select the file used to store the names. Okay, now I don't specify how this should be invoked, and in previous examples, I've just had it in the form load. Where the program starts up and it asks you for the file name. I think it's better if we have a button. The reason is because things like, you answer the dialog box and then your window, your execution window is missing. You got to go find it and everything. And so it's just easier to have a button that says, load file. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this down here, and I'm going to put a button someplace, wherever. I'm going to make it look nice later. I'm going to put a button here that says the name of it is going to be BTN load. Wait a minute. No, not load file. Choose file, I guess. I guess that's a good name for it. And it's going to say on it, choose file. All right, that's okay. There's a choose file button. Add a label that displays the file name. Okay, that's a good idea. So I'm going to add a label. First, I'm going to say add. First, I'm going to add a label that says the label is the file name. The file name colon. Okay, that just says that. And then I'm going to add another label here, which is actually going to put it. And here I'm just going to say none specified when it starts out. And I'm going to name this label because I'm going to write to it later, LBL file name. There we go. All right, so that's all we got to do. All right, so let's oh geez, this is a very easy event handler. All right, so I'm gonna go to the okay. All right, so I'm gonna double click on this button because I'm gonna put some code in there. Double click, and here we go. Here's the event handler, and here is my code here. Right here, I guess, is the code. And I'll put this code in here and then I'll explain it. Okay, so this puts up a dialog box, save dialog box, a dialog control named DLG save file. Notice it's got a red line underneath it because I haven't put it over there yet. Let me do that. So let me go here. And what you do is you go find the dialog box thing. Here it is, dialogs. And I want to do a save file dialog. The reason is because the save file dialog box lets you choose a file that doesn't exist yet. Because we either want to open up an existing file and append it to it, or we want to open up, or we want to declare a brand new file, and for the first time that we're going to write to for the first time. And if we use an open file dialog box, then it won't let you specify a file that doesn't exist. It doesn't let you do that. So that's why I'm going to use save file. So all I got to do is drag one of these over onto the form, and it puts it down here. And then I'm going to change the name of it right over here. I'm going to change it to DLG save file. Okay. Now let's go back to the code. There we go. Okay, now, let's go up to where the file is actually specified right now. Look, it's specified right here. It's hard-coded into the method, this file class method, which opens up a file to be able to add stuff to it. We are gonna instead of having it hard-coded there, we're gonna make a variable outside here that everybody can see, or everybody inside this program can see, not outside. That's why we say private. And it's going to be a string variable, and it's going to be called file name. And right now, I'm going to set it equal to this thing. So it initializes set equal to that. And so in here, I'm going to put the variable file name. And so this means that even though it's initialized to this, if this button is clicked, choose file, then this is going to change it to something else. Now you notice here we write to the label. We write the new file name to the label. Let's also do that. See, we cannot do it here. It won't let us do it here because this is outside. This is like initialization time. There's not even a form yet. This says so. It's got to be inside the event handler or the load event handler. Oh, look, there's no form 1 load event handler, is there? Well, let's start one up. All I do is out here, I double click out here, and look, form 1 load. Okay, in here, I want to put this setting the label equal to the file name. So this means when the form loads, after it's all done loading, then there will be a file name label, back here when this thing is just starting up. There's no nothing yet, so you try to reference a label called LBL file name, and it doesn't even exist yet because it hasn't been. This thing hasn't been built yet. It's still starting up. Okay, so that takes care of that. So let's see if this works. I don't think it's going to work. Let me. Okay, so right now, see it says friend.txt. So let me try to choose a different one. I'm going to go down to. I have to go to desktop, assignment 8, friend file, down here. And I'm going to do, well, first I'm going to do this one. Okay, now it looks like this, which is fine. It sticks the path in front of it. Joe Schmo. Okay, there we go. And let's go look at the file. There's Joe Schmo. Okay, great. So that works. Now let's try to do a different file. So I'm going to try friend2.txt and see what happens. Okay, I'm going to say Fred Johnson. You can tell I grew up in the Midwest. Arthur Smith. All right, now there should be a new file around someplace. Let's see. Let me look in here. Let me look in here. Oh, here it is, friend2. Let me open this up, and there's Fred and Arthur. All right, so that works. Everything's fine. Okay, so I can exit. Great. What's next? Add a list box that displays the current list of names. All right. And then on the Form 1 onload event handler, we load up the list of names. And whenever file name is written, list of names is cleared and reloaded. Okay, it's got to do all that. All right, so let's go over here, and I'm going to add a list box. List box, put it right over here maybe. And I'm going to name it. I'm going to name it LST names, whatever. Okay, got that there. And so I want to make it so when the form loads, it reads the file and loads up the names. Okay. Okay, so we have to do that. We also have to do that when if we change the file name too. All right. What is this? Is this the right code? All right. We already have a file name, so let's just grab this here. Copy. Copy. And let me go over here. It'll go in the event handler. I can just double click out here because that's where we're going to do it. Okay, after this thing, let's just paste this. Okay, so we're going to try to open the file name. And we're going to clear out the list box, what we called it something else, names. And then we're going to loop until the file is empty, or until we've gotten to the end of the file. Each time we're going to read in the name and add it to the list, and then we're going to close it. Now, the reason we do this, the reason we put it inside of a try catch, is because of this. You know, we use the save dialog box to specify the file, and the file and it's possible to specify a file that doesn't exist. So if you try to read a file that doesn't exist, it'll throw an exception. You can't read a file that doesn't exist. So what happens is it goes down here. This catches it, and this instead creates the new file. So it opens, it declares a stream writer variable called output file. It connects this file to it, connects the file name. It uses the create text file method to create a new text file with the name that's a file name, and then it just closes it right away. all it does is it creates it so it exists. It's empty. It doesn't put anything in it, and it closes it right away. So now there is a file that exists. Let's see. We don't even have to do this, do we? Because we don't have to do this because if the file is empty, there's nothing to load the list box up with. So I'm going to put off doing this for now. Okay, we'll add this in later sometime. So I'm just going to comment this out. So it'll catch the error. It'll catch the error, and the items will already be clear, and it won't do anything. It'll catch the error, and it won't do anything, so it'll just continue on. Okay, let's see if this works. All right, so, oh, look at that. There's my friend.txt file. What happens if I change it to friend2.txt? It doesn't change. So let's fix that so it actually changes. There's a list box there now. So since there's a list box there, when we change a new file, we can again try to do this. And I'm going to not put anything in try catch. I'm just going to do this. So we've chosen a new file, and I'm going to paste this in there, and I'm just going to do catch nothing. So we have loaded a new file name. Then I'm going to go in here and try to open it up to read it and try to load up the list box with the new file. If I try to open it up and if I try to open it up and it doesn't work, then I'll just catch it, do nothing, and continue. So let's see if this works. So there's friend. So I'm going to choose a new file, and I'm going to choose friend2 this time. Yes, look at that. All right, that works. Fantastic. What's next? Add logic to your code to avoid adding a name twice. Display a message when it is attempted. Okay, so we're typing in a new name, and then we gotta go through everything to find out. Oh, this is wrong because it assumes there's an array in there. Okay, so it goes through all the names to see if the name is there. If the name is there, it flashes up a message and says the name's already there. If the name isn't there, it goes ahead and adds the message, adds the name. So that would be in the right enter name thing, and this, when it gets to this point, we have already decided we're going to add the name. So I got to do something before this. Before this, I got to see if the name is in there. And in the past, when I've done this before, I have read up the file to see if the name is there. But now that I've got the list box in there, let's see if I can use the list box to determine if the name is there. See if that'll work. I don't know if that'll work. So let's see. I'm going to use these somehow as notes. Okay, I'm going to start by grabbing the name. So I'm going to say string new name equals txt new name dot text. So now I got it in a variable called new name, and I'm going to declare another Boolean variable called duplicate. I'm going to name it this. Name exists, and I'm going to set it equal to false because this we're going to start out with is false, and then I'm going to do while. Let's see. How do I loop through items? Oh, no, I can't loop through items. No, you don't know. We haven't gotten to arrays yet, have we? No, I can't loop through items because items, a list box is a collection. It's an array. So let's save that let's save that for the next assignment. So I do have to try to read it. So I'm going to read it up and see if it's and see if the name is in there. So let's find some code where I read it up. Here I read it up. So I'm gonna copy this code, and I'm gonna put it right here. Try to open it up, and while end of stream and name does not name exists equals false. I want to check if if the okay, I got to read it in. String read name equals this. I should declare a string name. I should put it on here. And just say read name. Is that? And if read name equals new name, and again you can use the string method. Someone want to remind me of the string method? String compare. Yeah, is that right? And the first one is string A is read name, and string B is new name. And then do I need to case insensitive? True. If this is true, then we have then the name exists. Name exists equals true. Okay, so we loop until, and then we have to, okay, so then this reads a new name. Okay. So this thing loops, and it's either going to quit looping because we've hit the end of the file, or it's going to quit looping because the name exists. And if we do, okay, great. If there's an error, then it means that the file doesn't exist, and that means the name doesn't exist, and so we're fine. So now, okay, so now what I can do is if name exists is false, then do this. Then do all this. Try catch business. Then do this business here. Cut, paste. All right. So we click the enter button. We grab what the new name is. We set this variable name exists to false, and then we go through this loop here, reading up all the names, seeing if any of them equals new name. This one we just were trying to enter. And what happens is it doesn't like this. What doesn't it like about it? Oh, it's an int. Ah, right, it's an int. Equals 0. That means it's true. So that means there's no difference between read name and new name. If there were a difference between read name and new name, one would be larger than the other. Larger, the way you so I guess alphabetically larger, because strings are alphabetically larger. And if read name is lower in the alphabet, then this would be negative. So that's why you're testing this. So if we find a match, this is going to end up being true. It's going to come down here, and so then this won't happen. So I'm going to put that's what happens if the name exists as false, and else message box show name already exists. Okay, let's see if this works. Start. All right, I'm gonna see if Tim Owens is in there. Tim Owens. Enter. All right, how about Tim Owens? So it's lowercase. All right. How about only one Tim Owens? Tim Owen. That took. How come I didn't enter? Let me see the file. It entered here, but it didn't enter here. Why? Because I didn't reload. I entered a name, it entered it into the file, but it didn't enter it into the list box. So let me fix that. Let's see. So we enter a new name. Here we are. Here we've just entered in a new name. There, we've just entered in a new name. And so what we got to do is we got to reload this list box. So I'm going to reload the list box right here. Where do I reload the list box? Here. That's reloading the list box. So I've just closed it. Now I'm going to open it up again as a read. Open it right back up again, clear out the list box, clear the list box, read it up, add them, throw them in the list box, close it again, and then go to this stuff. So I'm going to add replenish list box. All right, let's see if this works. All right, let's see. Bruno Mars. Okay, there it is. There we go. All right, so it works. Okay, so are we done with yeah, so this is obviously wrong because we don't have the array yet. However, after we do put the array in, then you can use this code. All right, so I guess we're done. And so what I would want you to do now to finish this up is, let me close this. I would want you to take a screenshot of this. How do I do that? Oh, wait, I can do it this way. No, I'm going to take a snipping tool. New snipping tool. I'm just going to grab this. There, grab that like that. That's good enough. And I'm going to save this on the desktop. Save as. No, I'm going to put it in my assignment 8 right here. Sure, I'm going to put it there. Screenshot. .png. All right, so I'm done with that. I can close that. I can stop this. And I also want, so here's my assignment 8. I got this in there. Let me switch over to a better way of looking at it. I like details. There's that. My program is here. My screenshot is there. And I also want to submit, oh no, you're not submitting your program. You're not submitting your program. Okay, but you'll submit it later. But you also want to, let me go down in here, just to, you also want to grab this. So I'm going to make a copy of this. Copy there. And I also want this, a copy into there. And I think that is that, and that. Okay, so yes. So I'm going to close this. So if we go to assignment 8, and this is my friend file. This is the stuff I hand in right here. So I'm just going to go this, shifting these 3 things, and I'm going to do a right click, and I'm going to send to zip folder, and there's this, and I'm going to rename this assignment 8 hand in. How's that? Because if you look inside here, which we can do, I got these 3 things. That's what I want. Okay, so so now I'm gonna close this out, and this is my this got everything in there. And so I tell you what, I'm gonna zip this whole thing up. Zip this up. Send to. So now I got this. All right, forget that. I'm going to go to my Dropbox. I'm going to go to my Dropbox, and I'm going to settle this out. Okay, here's my Dropbox. Did I sign in as myself? No, it's not. What am I doing? Oh, it knows it's me. Oh, I see. Let me exit student view. Let me go to this Dropbox, this one, and I'm going to upload files. I'm going to upload. I can't upload the directory, but what I can upload is this assignment to hand in.